Wade Wilson, Crime, Conviction, and Florida's Execution Methods. The world of true crime often reveals chilling stories of individuals whose actions defy comprehension. Among them stands Wade Wilson, a man whose criminal history culminated in one of the most unsettling cases in recent Florida history. Convicted on 6 charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, Wilson's actions gripped the nation with their brutality and cold calculation. His case raises questions not only about human depravity, but also about the mechanisms of justice and punishment. In this video, we will explore Wade Wilson's crimes in detail, unravel the events that led to his conviction, and examine the very system that judged him. We will also delve into Florida's dark history of executions, from the infamous electric chair known as Old Sparky to the current methods of lethal injection. Together, let's reflect on the powerful intersection of crime, justice, and society's evolving views on punishment. Wade Wilson was not an ordinary man. His name has become synonymous with horror and chaos. Before committing the crimes that would define him, Wilson had a troubled past marked by delinquency and violent tendencies. His early years hinted at the storm that would later erupt, a combination of personal demons and a blatant disregard for human life. But nothing could have prepared the public for the terrifying revelation of what he would do next. Wilson's name emerged in the headlines in connection with a spree of violent and criminal activities that left 2 people dead and others traumatized. His actions revealed a calculated and sinister mind, driven by a dark intent that is both unnerving and unforgettable. The crimes Wade Wilson was charged with shook his community and painted a harrowing portrait of his capacity for harm. Among the charges were 2 counts of first-degree murder, the most heinous of his actions. These murders were not random acts of violence. They were deliberate, cold-blooded crimes that would ultimately seal his fate. While the details of the murders are harrowing, they are essential to understanding why justice came down so hard on him. The identities of the victims, their lives cruelly taken, linger in memory as a reminder of the human cost of Wilson's brutality. But murder was only part of his crime spree. In addition to taking lives, Wilson was convicted of battery, a crime of violence and subjugation against his victims. Burglary, grand theft, and petty theft spoke to his complete disregard for law and societal norms. Each charge painted a distinct feature of his profile, a dangerous individual with no moral compass. With the prosecution building a case rooted in undeniable evidence, Wilson's fate was all but sealed. The disturbing clarity of his actions left no room for doubt, leading to one of the most consequential trials of recent times. The courtroom became a stage for justice to confront villainy. The trial of Wade Wilson captured widespread attention as the gruesome nature of the crimes came to light. Prosecutors meticulously detailed how Wilson carried out his crimes, leaving the jury and the audience in no doubt of his guilt. The defense, of course, attempted to cast shadows of uncertainty. But the strength of the evidence, a combination of witness testimony, forensic proof, and Wilson's own actions, ensured that any defense was torn apart. His guilt was undeniable, and justice demanded consequences. The jury deliberated, and their verdict came swiftly. Wade Wilson was found guilty on 6 charges, including the 2 counts of first-degree murder. The sentence matched the severity of the crimes. For Wilson, there would be no leniency, no escape from the consequences of his choices. But for Florida, Wilson's fate reignited a conversation about the cost of justice and the methods we use to punish the guilty. Wade Wilson's trial shed light on Florida's unique and chilling history with capital punishment. Decades before lethal injection became the standard, executions in Florida served as a public spectacle, a grim reflection of justice during its most merciless era. In 1923, Florida's legislature took a significant step by replacing hanging with the electric chair as the official method of execution. The shift was seen as progressive for its time, offering a swift and humane alternative to the drawn-out violence of a hanging. However, the new method was disturbing in its own way. Inmates at the time were enlisted to construct a 3-legged oak chair, later known as Old Sparky. What exists now is not just an object, but a symbol, one that represents Florida's long-standing and complicated relationship with capital punishment. Florida's electric chair would go on to claim dozens of lives over the decades. Its victims ranged from notorious criminals to men whose last moments were marked by gruesome, controversial malfunctions. Old Sparky became infamous, its use sparking public outrage and prompting calls for change. Cases where the chair malfunctioned only added to the horror, reminding society of the stark brutality of its justice system. The controversy surrounding the electric chair ultimately led to change, as Florida adopted lethal injection as its primary method of execution. This transition marked a significant shift and reflected society's gradual discomfort with the overt violence of Old Sparky. Today, death row inmates in Florida are given a choice between the electric chair and lethal injection, a relic of a bygone era juxtaposed with modern methods. While old traditions still linger, lethal injection is now the preferred standard due to its supposed humane nature. But even with this change, the debate rages on. Advocates of the electric chair view it as a powerful deterrent for the worst of criminals, while opponents argue for the abolition of all capital punishment, citing ethical concerns and wrongful convictions. For convicted criminals like Wade Wilson, the punishment is final and irreversible. But this grim reality provokes tough questions. What does it mean to administer justice in a way that is both ethical and effective? And can we truly claim a moral high ground while practicing state-sanctioned death? The case of Wade Wilson pushes the boundaries of morality and legality, forcing us to examine our own beliefs about crime and punishment. His crimes are indisputably horrific, leaving little doubt that justice was necessary. But as his sentence looms, society is once again faced with the ethical implications of the death penalty. The death penalty has long polarized public opinion. On one hand, it represents closure for the victims' families and acts as a deterrent against violent crime. On the other hand, it raises questions of fairness, humanity, and flaws within the justice system. For every Wade Wilson whose crimes are proven beyond doubt, there are others on death row whose guilt is less certain. In Florida, where the option of an electric chair still exists, the debate is even more contentious. Support for its continued use comes from a belief that criminals like Wilson deserve a punishment that reflects the severity of their crimes. Opponents, however, see it as barbaric, a relic of a darker past that has no place in a modern society. The story of Wade Wilson is one of crime and punishment, of justice delivered, but also of questions unanswered. His actions changed lives forever, leaving a trail of grief and horror in their wake. But his conviction is also a testament to the legal system's determination to hold even the worst offenders accountable. His case serves as a stark reminder of the human capacity for violence, a capacity that, thankfully, is matched by society's demand for justice. It also highlights the weight of responsibility our legal system carries when delivering that justice. While Wilson himself may face the most severe consequences, his case compels us to think about what justice should look like, not just for him, but for the society he wronged. Wade Wilson's story is unsettling, not only because of the gravity of his crimes, but because it holds a mirror to our justice system and moral framework. Florida's history of execution modes, from public hangings to lethal injection, tells its own story, one of an evolving perspective on punishment and humanity. Where do we stand today? Can we draw clear moral lines amid such violence? Or are we doomed to grapple with these ethical dilemmas indefinitely? The answer to this remains unclear, but one thing is certain. Wade Wilson's case, along with Florida's enduring legacy of Old Sparky and lethal injection, provides fertile ground for reflection. For the audience captivated by the macabre allure of true crime, this case serves as both a chilling tale and an intellectual challenge. As we close this exploration, we invite you to share your thoughts. Is capital punishment a necessary deterrent, or does it erode our humanity in pursuit of justice? Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay reflective, and always seek the truth.